Hey, welcome back to Frank's Model Works. I'm Frank. So, I don't think I'm ever gonna decant Revell Chrome Spray ever again. Not because I don't want to, I don't, but because I don't think I have to. The results are in on my tests with spraying it on photo-etched by decanting it, and interesting results. So, it's probably best if I put you up there and show you what I got. Hold on a second. So if you watched my my shop update video, I had sprayed this photo etch fret with the leftover decanted Revell Chrome that I had got the first and only time that I decanted it. And this was sprayed directly onto the metal. Now, it's been given several days to dry. It doesn't look that bad, but there are, if you can see right here, if you can look into the, come on, focus. Let me get more light on the subject. If you could look right on this rear view mirror right here, there's some crazing. And it's really bad on that one piece. Now, as far as the rest of it, I would say it's usable. But this being the decanted method, and one thing I haven't done was test the durability. I was waiting for you folks to do that, so I will do that now. And I'm going to just do it. So it did smudge it a little bit. I do have some transfer on my finger. But that's bearing down pretty hard. But it does definitely take the luster off it. It's not flaking off like paint on photo etch would normally do if you don't use metal primer. So in a pinch, and if you've decanted it, you spray it onto photo etch just neat, it'll work. But you got to be real careful because you're gonna get, I don't know if I would call those fish eyes. Yeah, because it's not crazing. It's not affecting the metal. Those are probably fish eyes or whatever it was. It didn't like what it was sprayed onto. So I would not recommend decanting and spraying it directly onto the photo etch. The next one, which is a GTO, this was directly out of the can and onto unprimed photo etch metal. It looks okay, but I don't know if you could see around the edge, not that it matters because you're not going to use the edge of the frets anyway. There's also some of the, I don't know if, I guess you would call that pitting, or I don't know if they're fish eyes either. There's a little bit in the mirror. There's a little bit of texturization going on in this mirror. Maybe you could see it there. Now, as far as durability, all right, what finger did I? Let's use my index finger. So that somewhat affected. It actually, yeah, it kind of wiped it off. So, just so we're sure. Yeah, it's dulling it as soon as I touch it. Not horribly, but and it would probably withstand normal handling. But I'll leave this for a second to show you this. Now this one was primed with Mr. Metal primer, and then I decanted a little bit of the Revell Chrome Spray, and you could see right off the bat that there is a difference in luster between these two. It is marked difference. This is by far less brilliant in luster than this. This has more luster, more of a richness and a deepness to it. So, and keep in mind that this was just the Mr. Metal primer with the Revell Chrome Spray decanted and sprayed on top of it. So I think if you want to use Revell Chrome Spray for painting photo etch, I guess I would have to recommend this. And what I would recommend that you do, just to make sure that there's nothing on it, because not for nothing, it's not really designed to be painted. I don't think that's part of the process that the manufacturer recommends in painting it. But if you want to get a more chrome look out of it, I would recommend wiping it down with 91% isopropyl alcohol, just to make sure that there's nothing on it, letting that air dry, which will be rather quickly, and then from 18 inches away, 18 to 24 inches away, spray on Revell Chrome Spray, and then place it somewhere safe where it'll have several days to dry. And I think you'll have a decent outcome. So that would be my recommendation, should you choose to chrome your photo etch. So now, because we got to beat the subject to death, I did some tests with the parts that I had previously prepared using Revell Chrome Spray. If you remember, these rally wheels were stripped of their kit chrome, primed with Mr. Surfacer 1500, and then given a base coat of Tamiya X1 gloss black and Mr. Hobby GX2 Ueno gloss black, and then shot with Revell Chrome Spray. And the results were very deep and rich chrome that looked like it was a chrome plated piece of metal. So then what I did was I wanted to find out what would be my recommendation for then taking that part that you've already treated with Revell Chrome Spray and filling in the areas that are argent, because Chevy rally wheels and even rally wheels from Mopar are argent silver, and they either have a chrome trim ring and the center cap is chrome for the rally wheels. So this part of the wheel would be a painted argent silver. So the first one that I used was MIG acrylic color steel. It's actually one of the brighter colors in the line, but closest to the argent that's used on rally wheels. What I noticed when painting with this is that the surface tension of this paint made it difficult to spread. Like I would brush it on, and then the paint would contract because the surface tension of the Revell Chrome was such that it just wouldn't allow it to stay where I put it, and the paint itself would, by its own surface tension, would retract itself. And for that reason, I don't recommend this particular paint, and this stuff is hard to find anyway. I don't even know if they still make it. I just had it. Same story with this. This is Model Master aluminum plate buffing metalizer. This isn't available anymore. You might find it on eBay. As far as using it for this purpose, it brushed on okay. You're really not supposed to. They said that you're not supposed to. They've been saying for years you're not supposed to brush this stuff, but you can. The finish was fine. It painted okay, but based on the fact that this is no longer available, and if you do find it, you might pay a collector's price for it. I would not recommend it, but not because if you have it, then use it. You know. Now the next one that I did was Tamiya X11 Chrome Silver. Now this has a nice luster to it, but I don't think it's the right luster for a rally wheel, and particularly when representing argent. I think, and this is Tamiya XF16 flat aluminum. I think that brushes well onto the Revell Chrome Spray, and I think it represents the argent of a Chevy rally wheel pretty well, or any rally wheel. So, based upon that, and the wide availability of Tamiya acrylics, when replicating argent on a rally wheel, or anything that you would paint silver on something that's been chromed with Revell Chrome Spray, I would recommend Tamiya XF16 flat aluminum. Okay? So now the next question is going to be, what about putting a wash? All right, hold on a second. I'm going to set up for that. I'm popping in here fast because I want to make a disclaimer. And this is something that I'm kind of embarrassed about. The last portion of the video where I made the recommendation to use Tamiya XF16, that's not my idea. I got that idea from Pat over at Card Scale Dreams. He released a video a couple of weeks ago about his method for painting rally wheels using Tamiya XF16, and for the center section on Mopars he uses gunmetal, Tamiya gunmetal. Pat, I apologize. I don't want anybody to think that I'm stealing Pat's ideas. That's not how I operate, and I wanted to make sure in no uncertain terms that I let everybody know that Pat from Card Scale Dreams informed the last portion of this video. So use Tamiya XF16 for your argent, please. Sorry, Pat. When I apply a wash to especially a chrome plated part, one of the things I try not to use is Tamiya Panel Liner accent color, and there's a couple of specific reasons why I don't use it. I will show you. I might have shown you this in another video. I don't remember, but I will show you again why I don't like it. Inside this cap is the brush. Inside here is a reservoir that actually holds some of the panel line accent color. Now, when you apply the brush, you could very easily have that reservoir dump out all over whatever you're working on. I don't like that. So when I do use the panel line accent color, I will try to use the thinnest paintbrush that I have. And I would actually probably prefer one with longer bristles. Yeah, this is generally, it might be a little... Where did you go? I just had you. But for this purpose, I don't... Yeah, this is the one I use. I don't use the brush inside of here. Because I don't like it. It's bitten me before with having the stuff come out. This stuff is actually enamel based. If you smell it, it kind of smells like shoe dye, if you ever smelled shoe dye. And who hasn't smelled shoe dye? I mean, really. I'm sure a lot of people. But when I'm going to use do a wash, especially for chrome parts, and I actually use this type of wash in a lot of instances, but I really like it for this purpose for a couple of reasons. And I'll show you. What I use is Winsor & Newton Winton oil color. This is oil paint, ivory black. So when you buy oil paint, There's like student grade up to artist grade. I think this is student grade because you could buy it fairly cheap at the big box art stores like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It's not that expensive, and this, I think I've had this tube of paint for probably close to 10, 11 years, and I still probably have another 10 or 11 years inside here. In order to make the wash, what I do is I apply a pea-size bit of the oil paint to one of these. I think the brand that makes these is Trumpeter. These little metal trays, and then to that I will add white spirit. White spirit is like the European or the English name for what we in America would call mineral spirits. It's a petroleum distillate, so it's different from turpentine. Turpentine is a wood oil distillate, so but this is a petroleum distillate. And I will add enough to create a somewhat opaque mixture. It gets a little slurry action going. All you have on hand is the can of testers, the red can. Let's see, do I have it? We all know what I would do if I take down the can of testers thinner. I'm going to smell out of it. Hold on. Let me do it. Folks seem to like that. Hold on. This can of testers. This is an old can. Testers, Aztec, Model Master, Flow Quill. They're pretty much all gone at this point. 2005. Childhood. This would probably work, but test off. I would recommend buying hobby grade mineral spirits because it's what I use and I have demonstrated results with it, and I would recommend it. If you're going to use something else, test off your project. I might have mentioned that a time or two throughout my videos. So, a note about washes. In general, you want to use a material that will be complementary and not hazardous to the finish you're applying it to. So the finish that I'm applying it to is painted lacquer. And I've actually already done this. The top half is going to be my cautionary tale, which is coming up next. And when I say a complementary, but not hazardous to the... For example, if you have an acrylic finish, I would generally not recommend that you use lacquer on that. Can it happen? You know, there are charts and diagrams that say you can't put lacquer over anything, but I'm not going to get into that argument. Suffice it to say, there are ways to do anything you want to do. It's just you want to take the time to figure it out. So, in the case of this, Revell Chrome Spray is an acrylic lacquer spray. So, if you were to take, for the sake of argument, Tamiya X18 semi-gloss black and thin it with Tamiya X20A, which is an alcohol-based thinner, and try to make a wash out of that, you'll probably get it on pretty well. This top panel of the rear valance of this 69 dot was done with that. The problem is, in so doing, you're reconstituting the lacquer by putting the alcohol on it. Alcohol will take lacquer right off. So alcohol is actually a component of most lacquer thinners. So I would not recommend making a wash out of Tamiya acrylics or lacquers. If you can find Tamiya enamels, sure, I give it a shot, see what happens. Let me know how you do. You probably, if you find Tamiya enamels, they're probably going to wind up behaving a lot like this. And one of the reasons why, besides the application, one of the things that I don't like about Tamiya Panel Liner is that it requires several coats of the panel liner to get a really, really high contrast wash. It's very, very thin. And in using an oil paint to make your wash, it's a more dense and saturated substrate that you're then thinning and making a wash out of. So it's going to cover better with less coats, and less coats winds up being better off for you because it's less that you have to remove and wipe away. Another problem with the Tamiya Panel Liner is there's the distinct possibility that you could create tide marks, and tide marks, let's take a look over here. This body should look very familiar to Terry Wilson. Tide marks are created when wherever you're applying the wash jumps out. So if you look closely, you see that little dot right there? That's where I applied the brush. If you're putting that on a gloss surface, it's not that much of a problem, but if you're putting this on a flat surface, when you go to remove that, it's gonna dig in. It's gonna be harder to remove, and you're fighting it to get it out. There's not as much of that going on with a oil paint and mineral spirits wash. So when it's applied, it goes on thin, and it has a tendency to run without pooling on the surface. So you're actually, I had done this previously. So what you're actually doing is you're having less effect on the little ribs of chrome that should be showing through. Actually, if I remember correctly, I think this should just, but this is for demonstration purposes, not accuracy purposes. So that's why I use this method for applying a wash. And I prefer that, although I still do use this, I would prefer to use this method. I'm actually going to be doing a weathering video series coming up after this, where I show you some nice basic weathering techniques, like if you were going to create a model of like your average Cars and Coffee kind of car, where the paint looks great, the interior looks great, but it's a car that gets driven, so you might have a little spots on the mufflers and stuff like that, and on the chassis. So stay tuned for that. Now, I applied, if you could see here in this area right here, the center cap, I applied this wash, and I also applied it in this section right here of the center cap. And you'll see that it creates a nice saturated, opaque wash that doesn't necessarily really have to be wiped away that much. Like you put it in there and it's gonna be just fine. It'll basically just run around exactly where it's supposed to go. See, it's not really pooling anywhere. And if it does, you just hit it with the brush and move it out of the way. Whereas my experience with Tamiya Panel Line accent color is that it can tend to dig in. So, if you are painting with enamels, I wouldn't recommend this method or this method. Then I would recommend making an acrylic wash, which is a little bit more difficult to do. It's a little bit more difficult to create an acrylic wash because you have to remove the surface tension of acrylic paint, and you would need a surface tension. Where is that? I don't know. I think I threw it out because the quality of the product that I was using was not really up to snuff. So I abandoned the method of trying to use acrylic for washes, and I generally paint with lacquers at this point. I don't really paint with enamels anymore. The exception being for the engine colors on my cars, because I get those from MCW. So, as you can see with this wheel, we have the argent in there. We have the wash in the center cap right there, and this is a nice looking wheel. You got the bright luster of the chrome from Revell Chrome Spray. On this one, I applied in the center of the Magnum 500. I applied Tamiya's Clear Red. It's fine. Just be very careful when painting it on. Try to minimize your brush strokes. And for the center portions of the Magnum 500 that are black, I use, where are you? Vallejo color. You could use craft acrylic. That would be a good application. It would work well here. That would you could use that here. If you have Vallejo also makes a glossy black that you can put onto the Revell Chrome Spray. So, having said all of that, I will now go over to the spray booth and show you my my methods for trying to put clear on top of Revell Chrome Spray. Just a little preview. It doesn't go well. Anyway, so stay tuned for that, and I'll be with you in a second. Okay, we're over in the funny spot. I wanted to spray the Revell Chrome Spray with 2K clear to see what would happen. I'm not optimistic for good results. I don't think it's gonna go well, but I'd like to be pleasantly surprised. If that works, that would be great, because then there would be really far-reaching applications for Revell Chrome Spray, where it could even possibly be used in the restoration of full-size cars. You got a guy with a dashboard panel, gauge panel, rather than sending his gauge bezels out to be chromed, he could probably use Revell Chrome Spray and then put 2K clear over the top of it and have a durable finish. But we'll see. I'm hopeful. that it'll work out for them. It's probably cheaper that way. We'll see. I'm not... Another method that I'm going to use, though, is this stuff. This is what I alluded to over at the workbench. This stuff is called Alclad Aqua Gloss Clear. This is a water-based acrylic clear. You could use it as a barrier coat for weathering, which is going to be coming up, an upcoming series on weathering, and this is going to feature prominently in that as a barrier coat. We'll get to that. Stick around. This product changing so much over the years. Its name changed. I don't even know what it's called anymore. I don't use it, as you can see. This bottle is from 2000, and it's been used more when we had like vinyl tiles in the kitchen upstairs. It was awful. I'm so glad we got rid of those things. But my wife used to. This bottle is from 2000, so. It's more of like a collector's item for me, because it's the original Future. If you know what it's called now, if what it's called now is even the same product, I don't know. I'm not gonna trust what's in this bottle. You might. That's great. I'm not gonna trust what's in this bottle to my build. So not when I have an alternative like this, which is readily available, consistent, and developed for this purpose. So I'm going to use this to spray on. Now with this, I'm not, or even the 2K, I'm not expecting it to improve the luster or the depth of the shine that the Revell Chrome Spray provides. I just want to see if maybe it will help in protecting it. And that might, without degrading the finish itself. So we shall see. I've included in this test the parts that were disappointing in my previous tests, the ones that were painted with Gaia Notes. And I just want to make sure that Gaia Notes Premium Mirror Chrome understands. I'm not mad at you. I'm disappointed. Wasn't that the worst when you were younger? That used to drive me. I mean, I would rather my parents back me over with their car than have my mother look at me and go, I'm not mad, Frank. I'm disappointed. It was the worst. One time she had me, I was like 15 years old. She gets me into the kitchen. She goes, you're not taking the pot, are you? No, Ma. She goes, don't let me find out. You know how disappointed in you I'd be? I go, no. And it was true. I didn't. My friends weren't into it. I didn't do it. She goes, oh, please, I'll be so disappointed if I ever find out you're taking the pot. All right? Be a good boy. She hands me a beer. And she goes like this. Come here. And lights a cigarette for me. Whatever. It's the 2K fumes, kids. I'm wearing the respirator, but, you know. All right, let's get started. What I'm going to do first, and this is a must, you got to have a cartridge filter mask if you're spraying 2K. Ideally, shoot this stuff outside. Definitely, if you're going to do it inside, try to open as many windows as you can. Put the fan on high, maybe even get another fan that's going to direct this stuff out of here. You don't want this stuff around. It's nasty, nasty garbage. But it makes a really nice shine. All right. Put the fan on, Frank. Stop mugging for the camera and put the fan on. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that is not good. Oh, that's not good at all. In fact, it's so bad, I'm not going to spray anything else with it. It's literally, I might as well just take it outside and set it on fire. That's how bad it is. Wow. Yeah, my fan actually works pretty well, so I can't even smell the 2K. If I pick this up at first, oh wait, maybe not. This is the wrong part. It's this. Instantly, as soon as it hit, and I wasn't really hosing it. As soon as it hit, it crazed. And it killed whatever luster there was. It's not good. Look. Ooh, that's bad. Look right there. On this side. Ooh, that's terrible. Good thing I took this out of the parts kit for my 69 dot. Yeesh. I'm not even gonna bother spraying it. You know what? Let's spray the photo etch, see what happens. I'm a glutton for punishment. Let me put the mask back on. I'm a glutton for punishment, and if you're this far into the video, so are you. And if you're this far into the video, let me know. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as that bumper. It's not exactly good either. Yeah, it's dulling the finish. I'm watching it dull the finish. Yeah, it's taking all the luster out of the Revell Chrome Spray. One more fret. Should we do it? We're gonna do it. Watch the whole world burn. Now, this was the GTO fret of photo etch. This was the one that was sprayed directly out of the can and onto the fret. It's actually not that bad. It's not the same luster that it had, but it didn't degrade it as thoroughly as it did the bumper. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, this is a high risk for low reward kind of situation. So, and before you ask, I'm not going to take out a bare piece of photo etch and just spray 2K onto it. I'm not doing it. Because it's just going to look, the color's not going to look like chrome. It might protect it, but it's not going to, I'm not doing it. Stop. Stop. All right. So, should I do the Gaia notes? I should do the Gaia notes. Should I? All right, I'll do it. My hair. Oof. Awful. This didn't turn out. Let me turn the fan off, Frank. Then turn it back on. This didn't attack the finish and craze as quickly, but this just looks like somebody sprayed clear over silver. Doesn't look like chrome. Doesn't look stupid, but it looks a little stupid. There might be a use for this. I can't see what. But I wouldn't recommend the 2K clear over, what do you call it? Over the Revell Chrome Spray. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think lacquer clear would be much better. I think it's a solvent reaction that's going on with it. Because that was instantaneous, and look, I mean, you can see there's some nasty stuff going on right there. And this looked like chrome. This looked like kit chrome. Oh well. Yeah, there's no point wasting anymore. I'm gonna pause for a second. Once you spray 2K clear, get it out of your airbrush and go clean your airbrush, because nothing, and I mean nothing, will brick your airbrush quicker than 2K clear drying in it. You might as well just make it a paperweight, because that's all it's. Maybe you can get it out with something. I don't know what, but you're gonna damage a lot of. You're definitely gonna damage the nozzle, probably the needle. It's gonna be hard to. It's gonna be hard to get out of there. So, always clean after you use 2K. Clean your airbrush thoroughly, even if you're not. Clean it within, say, an hour, but definitely get it out of there and run some lacquer thinner through it, just to clear it out. And then within an hour, you gotta clean it thoroughly. Maybe even just, if you're not gonna clean it, disassemble it, because once that 2K, if that hardens around the internals of your airbrush, it's done. All right, hold on a second. I am back. I have washed the airbrush, and in the interim, the 2K on the Gaia Notes looks about the same, which is to say it looks like clear coat over silver paint. It didn't help or harm the Gaia Notes, so whatever. The Revell Chrome Spray with the 2K clear on this bumper is looking worse by the second. It's just, it ain't happy. It's fully crazed. It's developed a full craze on this side. Let me see if we can get that in the light. And you can see. And it's doing a pretty good job of crazing on this side. It killed the luster. In spots inside of here, it's actually going into the base coat, where the base coat is almost blooming and coming out. So the photo etch. Now keep in mind, this was one of the ones that I smudged, but that's not that bad of a luster. Let's see how that dries, and we'll see if maybe that's something we could do. I don't know. But on plastic, I think 2K is not the way to go with Revell. Yeah, this is not looking good at all. This was the one that was primed with Mr. Metal Primer. So I think the 2K is going into it. So what we're going to move over to now is the Aqua Gloss Clear. I was thinking about that as it was different times back then. I was allowed to drink and smoke in the house at 15 years old. It just, I'm not both of my parents passed away. They're gone over 10 years. It's not like they're going to get locked up or anything, but it's just the way it was. As long as I wasn't doing anything else but drinking and smoking, I was, they were fine. They wouldn't have gotten. They just would have been disappointed. My problem is, I do all of this. I do most of this stuff after a hard day's work, so I come down here. I'm already exhausted. And then I come over here and I get loopy from the fumes. And I just start saying stupid things. Alright. Let's take a look at what happens with the Aqua Gloss Clear. I don't think we're going to see reactions like crazing, because this is generally very, very mild stuff. I've never seen it craze anything that it's gone over, and this is actually fairly resilient, and I'm going to show you in the weathering series. This will resist a sludge wash really, really well. So when we get to that, I'll show you what I mean. And then once we do the weathering, it's another dimension you can add to your scale model. This way it doesn't look factory fresh, or it might be a car that a guy takes to the Cars and Coffee on Sunday. You know what I mean? It looks good. It looks good on the body, but it's a driven car. That's why you would want to weather. But we'll get to that. Jeez. Always pressuring me. Frank, you're alone in your basement. You're speaking to yourself. They're not here. I know. I'm okay. Alright, so first thing I'm going to grab is one of these sick looking Chevy Rally wheels. Those look pretty good. Don't remember which one this was. It doesn't matter anymore, because it's not the one that I painted with XF16. That one, I already showed you the disposition on that one. So let's see how this looks. Let's now, like I said, I don't think we're going to attack the finish. I'm just trying to see if this will keep the finish the same and protect it, make it more durable, resilient, so on and so forth. I put my glasses on just so I could take them off and put them on top of my head. Look like a cool guy. Nothing instant, so I guess that's good. So far, nothing's jumping out at me. Except the antelope. It's the fumes. Whenever you're ready. I gotta talk to them. Thank you. Aqua Gloss Clear likes to be shot out of at least a 0.3 millimeter airbrush at about 25 psi operating, up to 30 psi operating pressure. It has very good leveling qualities. If you hose it on, you can make it run. I wouldn't hose it on. You could do the same things. It's not really an application in model cars, but in model planes, like dipping it, you could do that. But I wouldn't. But I like this stuff. It's pretty nice. Now this, if you remember, these wheels were the ones that I stripped the chrome on them, and then I just sprayed the Revell Chrome Spray on top. It looks like kit chrome. So. Now, of the products that I used to do a wash before, this stuff, Aqua Gloss Clear, will have the same problem if you try to make like a wash out of Tamiya paints. It's not going to work very well. But it does hold up well to mineral spirits with oil paint. I've used it on almost every model plane that I've built that for which pictures exist. If you head over to my Facebook page, Frank's Model Works, but the words are separated, so you could go over there down further. I mean, like 2019 I think that was, no, 2020 was the last time I built the plane, I think. You could check those out. And in my introduction video that came out like a week ago, in there were pictures of some of the planes. Those were all boundary coated with Aqua Gloss Clear, and then given a sludge wash with oil paint thinned with mineral spirits. You notice I don't have the fan on. This is put your fan on. You know, use it in a well ventilated place. But this is probably the least dangerous to your health. You really should, if I'm being honest, if you're gonna spray paints, at least put a dust mask on. If you're spraying inside with a spray booth, put a dust mask on. You know, for your own health. I mean, I know I don't take my own advice, and it's easier for me to talk to you while I'm not wearing a mask. And it doesn't have to be like an N95. You could get, if you remember towards the end of the pandemic, we were all using those business casual ones that were like cloth. It was just, you know, you have to wear a mask. Oh, okay. Let me put this one on that my wife got me at Vineyard Finds or whatever. You know, it wasn't stopping anything. It just... But anything like a barrier, because you could get if you could set up a fan that will blow fumes in without actually blowing them so hard that they bounce back at you. So you could do that also, but you should wear something while you're spraying. You need to. It's a good idea. Said Frank as he sprays with nothing on, not even a fan. There it is. The guy who knows disappointment. I used this stuff for a long time. Probably. I don't have a lot left in the bottle of Gaia Notes. I might buy one more just to have on hand in case I need it for something, but I am a Revell Chrome Spray guy now. Rattle can to boot, not even decanting. Stop with the decanting. So, good stuff about the Aqua Gloss Clear. I'd give it a day to cure, but you could hit it. Like if you want to build up layers of it, you could spray it just to get it on, like a light layer. Hit it with an hair dryer, and then go right back and add another layer. Hit it with a hair dryer. It'll be dry to the touch with a hair dryer. I wouldn't start working with it for at least a day, because you know it's the rush. But it doesn't have a very long cure time. So sprayed those out. They look. Did I spray the photo etch? Doesn't smell like I did. I did not spray the photo etch. The entire video's about the photo etch. The last 2 videos have been... I don't know why you guys put up with me. I mean, I'm funny and I'm handsome and all that, but I'm a buffoon. Alright, this was the photo etch that I shot directly. This was actually the decanted one that I sprayed with, it was decanted, it wasn't primed. So, this looks okay. What I'll do is I'll hit the parts that I did with Aqua Gloss Clear. I'll hit them with the hairdryer, and I meet you up on top of the stand in front of the workbench, okay? Hold on a second. Stay tuned. Really great stuff going on here. I will now present my final analysis based on the results, okay? All the stuff over here is going to be the stuff that I don't really recommend doing. This stuff over here is stuff that I'm ambivalent about. You can't really say which way, one way or another, if it's good. And this is the stuff over here I really recommend, and I'll do this last. So, as far as I definitely do not recommend, first and foremost, I definitely do not recommend that you spray 2K clear over plastic parts that were stripped of their chrome, primed, base coated with gloss black, and then sprayed with Revell Chrome Spray. I would not recommend putting 2K clear over it. It will cause crazing. If you can see in this little license plate alcove, the gloss black base coat is actually blooming up through. There's crazing on both sides. It attacked the surface. It took away, it is shiny, but it took away all of the chrome luster that Revell Chrome Spray provides. So I do not recommend this. I do not recommend, unfortunately, Aqua Gloss Clear on top of Revell Chrome Spray. It did take away a significant portion of the luster that you're paying the premium for by using Revell Chrome Spray. While it might be more protected having the Aqua Gloss Clear on it, I don't think that the loss of luster, especially if you compare it to this wheel, this is definitely a chrome luster on this wheel right here. There's a significant loss in luster with the Aqua Gloss Clear on top of it. As far as, now this one, if you remember, this one was primed with Mr. Hobby Metal Primer R spray. That was allowed to dry. Then then Revell Chrome Spray was decanted and airbrushed on top of it, which produced so-so results. They weren't really spectacular. Those results were made worse by spraying 2K clear on top of it. This basically looks like shiny light gray. So I do not recommend this at all. So again, this would be a photo etch fret primed with Mr. Hobby Mr. Metal Primer R, then airbrushed with decanted Revell Chrome Spray, and then hit with 2K clear. No go. I would not recommend it. I would not recommend the Aqua Gloss Clear. This was actually not half bad before I hit it with the Aqua Gloss Clear. I don't think I really, although I'll get to these in a second, I'm not recommending that you spray a clear coat on Revell Chrome Spray. Okay? And if you remember, this wheel was stripped of its chrome, then just sprayed without being primed. The luster was taken away by spraying it with Aqua Gloss Clear. Now, the things that I'm ambivalent about one way or the other would be the Gaia Notes with Aqua. This was 2K. It didn't really affect it. It didn't go and craze it the way it crazed the Revell Chrome Spray, but it didn't add anything other than making it look like shiny aluminum. So if that's a look you want, that's one way to go. It's an expensive way to go about it. This was Aqua Gloss Clear over the Gaia Notes, and yeah, I'm ambivalent about these results. I don't think I have a use for this. This was a little bit better. Now, if you remember, this was a Magnum 500 wheel that was stripped of its chrome, then primed with Mr. Surface of 1500 white, then sprayed with gloss white base coat, and then sprayed out of the can with Revell Chrome Spray. Then I sprayed Aqua Gloss Clear on it. And while it didn't lose as much of its luster as the others did, it's still not as nice as an untreated wheel. This is definitely far more of a better look. Okay? Now, if you remember, let's get these disappointments out of the way. Disappointed in all of you. This one was shot unprimed with Revell Chrome Spray, and then I sprayed it with 2K Clear. And while at first it looked like it was okay, I'm going to stick with my initial recommendation that you not do it, because there are some spots where there is some crazing of the Revell Chrome Spray paint. Okay. I am ambivalent about Tamiya Panel Line accent color. Even though I use it, there are some situations where I will use it, but for the reasons that I expressed before, particularly pertaining to the reservoir in this and the brush itself, the tide marks, and its inability to cover very well, or provide adequate coverage without multiple layers, thus increasing your risk of marring whatever finish you're applying it to. I am ambivalent about this, but I'm not going to recommend that you not use it or not get it. It does have its uses, it's just you have to know its limitations. And I think I tried to lay them out for you in this video. So now the good part. Leave the good part for the last. Do not finish that line the way I think some of you are going to finish that line. I like the use of a nice oil paint with mineral spirits wash. As seen in the center cap of this Chevy Rally wheel, which was in this little thing in the middle right there, was also given that wash. I think it provides really nice coverage. In this lower part right here, as a wash on your chrome pieces, on this lower piece right here, not this. This is Tamiya. Let me see if I can get a better pointer. This panel right here is with Tamiya paint that was thinned, and I knew it would do this because I used Tamiya X20A thinner, and I knew that the alcohol in that would react to the Revell Chrome Spray. But this right here, this little panel where the script is, was washed with oil paint and mineral spirits and wiped away, and I think it's a better option. So see if I can get that up there a little bit better. There's a little part over here that I didn't even bother. Let me see if I can wipe that away. Let's see how we do. Oh, it's still a little wet. Wow, it's a day later. I didn't hit this with a hairdryer or anything, but I'm still going to stick with my recommendation of using an oil paint wash. Okay. These wheels were both given the wash with oil paint on the insides of the spokes. I like the effect, I like the coverage, and I like the controllability. And like I said, controllability almost always gives you a better result. So when painting over Revell Chrome trim, I made the recommendation of, again, based on Pat from Cod's Scale Dreams, his initial work on using Tamiya XF16 flat aluminum to paint like anything that would be argent, such as wheels. Sometimes the surround of a headlight will be argent, and you'll need to do that. I would recommend Tamiya XF16 for like wheel center sections where you gotta give a black finish. Whether it's flat or gloss, I would recommend Vallejo, thinned with water, and then just very carefully brush paint it on. If you mess up, try to get it off with a water-soaked cotton bud, like a Q-tip, cotton swab. One of these. So, what else is there to tell you? You can use Tamiya clear, the clear acrylics. You can use those on top of Revell Chrome Spray. As far as the Tamiya lacquer paints, the LP series, because they might be a little bit more aggressive, I would try to keep them away from the Revell Chrome Spray. These are milder. They're an acrylic lacquer hybrid, which is why they could be thinned with Tamiya's X28 thinner or with lacquer thinner. But if you're gonna thin it at all, try, don't thin it for this purpose. Just try to brush it on. You could use Tamiya's retarder. I don't have it on hand. I think I dropped my bottle of it, to be honest with you. I don't know where I put it. You could use that. It probably won't affect the Revell Chrome Spray, but I can't be sure. So test off your project first, as always. And what was the other thing? Oh, this, I wanted to show you this. When you're cleaning your brushes, depending on what you're painting with. So if you're painting with a water-based acrylic like this, I would clean your brush with water, and then to condition it and really clean it, this is Abteilung 502. This company is known more for making like oil paints for figure painting and stuff like that. But this stuff is pretty good. It actually smells like turpentine. I like the smell of it. Ooh. Not as much as I like Tester's red can, but so. All right, I'll put you on the tripod and we'll say goodbye. Hold on a second. That's still true. Not because I don't want to. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I don't think you need to. And I think what I've demonstrated is that you might actually wind up not getting the same results, the desired results, by decanting it. I think, based on the results that I've achieved throughout the production of this video, I think that the luster and the finish that people like so much about Revell Chrome Spray has to do with the fact that it's sprayed out of a can. I'm sure that's proprietary information. Revell might not confirm or deny that. Or maybe they will. Who knows? My results at least pan out that way. So if in the comments you want to tell me how to decant it, or ask me if and there will be people in the comments who, you should try decanting it. Great. Doesn't make me angry. It just makes me disappointed. So, final summation. Revell Chrome Spray, highly recommended for kit parts. Somewhat recommended for photo etch. If you do, just right onto the photo etch. Wipe the photo etch down with alcohol, rubbing alcohol first, isopropyl alcohol first. Allow it to air dry, which will be quickly, 18 to 24 inches. Build it up in light layers until you have coverage, and then put it someplace where it can dry and cure fully, and limit your handling of it. Do not put any form of clear over Revell Chrome Spray. I think it's durable enough to handle, to resist handling of assembly. Not much more than that. I wouldn't be picking the model up by parts that are painted with it. If you have to paint onto Revell Chrome Spray, craft acrylics will work well. Vallejo water-based acrylics will work fine. If you have Tamiya on hand, use Tamiya acrylics. Don't thin them, because that can affect the finish. Brush them on as best you can. And if you're going to put a wash, try to use oil paint with a mineral spirit thinner to create a wash that's covers well and doesn't really spread out the way Tamiya Panel Liner does. So, with all of those things in mind, I realize, yeah, that's a long journey to hear me say what I just said, and that the video itself could have been 4 minutes long. But you know something, in 4 minutes, if I had said it in 4 minutes, nobody would believe me because they didn't see my results, and nobody would listen anyway. They're not even going to listen now that I've shown them. But anyway, as always, I got Frizzo's back. I appreciate your support. And until we speak again, my friends, take care of yourselves and be well.